Hello, glowers and growers. Welcome back to Share It All, but Share It All with a twist, because this is my version of Share It All. I'm here, your loving, growing coach, Joy, the growth coach. And I want to sit here and tell you my story of how I got to the Share It All podcast, how I created Joyful Wellness Project, and basically my mental health story. A lot of people know my version of the story of who and how I came to be, if we're friends. But the people that don't know me on the internet, they don't know my story. And I felt, how could I have a podcast and how can I have a business that talks about celebrating stories when people don't even know my own, right? So I thought it was only best that I sit here and I give you snippets of my life, of me being vulnerable, honest, and maybe even things that I just never even discussed online or even with some people to you guys personally. So welcome to my version of Share It All. I decided I wanted to do this little mini project with you guys through a specific lens of an album that has helped me actually navigate this space of mental health and mental wellness for the past almost 4, now it'll be 5 years in 2022, probably when this video does air. So it'll be going on to 5 years. And I chose this person because I've listened to her music for about, God knows like how long, but this is a very important album to me. Now I wanted to do it through the lens of SZA's album Control. Now, Control came out in 2017, around the time that I actually started my mental health journey. When I was in my junior year of college, I actually started therapy. Now, if you would have asked me about therapy about 4 years ago, I would have laughed. I would have said, I don't need it. And we would have just continued along with another different topic.
You want to come here?
Because I don't respect therapy. Because I'm a scientist. Because I invent, transform, create, and destroy for a living. And when I don't like something about the world, I change it. And I don't think going to a rented office in a strip mall to listen to some agent of averageness explain which words mean which feelings has ever helped anyone do anything.
However, if it wasn't for a certain someone during the time and kind of giving me an ultimatum, I would have not be sitting here talking to you and telling you about all the things I know about mental health and the life and growth coach that you know today. So 4 years later and two therapists later, we're here. And we navigate this space of creating safe spaces for individuals to come talk about their lives.
I mean, that's how I've been able, that me being able to tell you now is an extremely growing part, because that's really something that I've never vocalized. So yeah, that's like the first time of me really vocalizing that, like here in this space.
Oh, wow. I make this feel like a safe space.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk about how to grow and glow and teaching them habit-based things on mindfulness, self-awareness, and self-discipline. So how did I get here? And why did I want to do this project? Through the lens of SZA. And I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. It's really because SZA inspired me to realize that your 20s are not gonna be easy in no shape, way, or form. And when she made the album, I loved it, but I didn't realize how hard it would hit each year I listened to it. And each moment I listened to it, especially when times are rough. SZA's Control album has taught me that the grind never stops. Getting heartbroken is a journey. It's a journey for self-acceptance, self-love, self-awareness, and honestly, just learning how to navigate the world a hell of a lot better. Something I've also learned from that album is that everybody's story can be also your story, but just with a different plot twist to it. So what I decided to do is that I wanted to take each song that she has on her album and exactly pinpoint it to a point within my life. And also, since I saw her in concert 4 years ago with this exact album, I decided I want to have a mashup of the album and parts of her performing as well throughout the videos. So That's one. And then also kind of give you guys a story of how this song relates to who I am and where I am currently as well. So let's give a run through of where we're gonna start off with. So from 2015 to 2017, I was 18, 19, and 20 at the time, but we're gonna kind of condense those into 1 year, because trust me, wow, child, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, right? So we're going to condense those and make that the year of Drew Barrymore. And if anybody knows who Drew Barrymore is, Drew Barrymore in the 90s was kind of known for like taking on roles that had to kind of deal with teenage insecurity, and kind of expressed that a lot. So I decided, if you actually listen to this as a song, that's basically kind of what she talks about, along with a lot of things that she talks about within the song. So I decided that is the perfect way to start with how and why I am where I am today. It's kind of discussing the insecurity portions of my life. Then 2018, I decided to name that after the song Pretty Little Birds, and navigate how one person that I truly love the most, no matter how much I thought I could love them and how much I thought I could love and support them, and the people that are also in that space that I navigated with, that love can't heal a lot of things. And that person has to be wanting to acknowledge, and I have to be wanting to acknowledge a lot of things that were wrong. And yeah, sometimes those people aren't meant for you. 2019, I just, because your girl was on her grind. I was graduating college. I started my business. What else did I do? I was getting a new job as well, because I was working multiple jobs at the same time. So your girl was on her grind. And the one thing she did not focus on, she was healing parts of herself, but she kind of neglected the avenue of focusing on the damaged and neglected parts of the wounds from a specific relationship. So, yeah. I didn't have time for love, but I did want to be loved. Ironic, right? Ironic. And then 2020, and I decided to use this song as also a pun on the year 2020, but I decided to use 20 something. It's a song that basically describes being outgrown of some things from your past, like certain behaviors, a person no longer loving certain parts of you anymore, and just it's saying it's not easy to navigate your 20s, and just praying that you get through it in one solid piece. So that's how I think about 2020 as a whole. I think we all just tried to get from one place to another safely, wholly, and just we were looking too forward to 2021. I'm gonna be honest.
Everybody stay calm. We're all gonna die.
2021 had its moments. We just eased through it, and we're still getting to the end of it. But yeah, it was definitely, it's a little turbulence. I would say a lot of turbulence, matter of fact, in 2020. And then 2021, I named that Normal Girl. Now I do understand the perspective that SZA had on that song. It was more like, you love certain parts of me, but don't love me wholly. And I kind of agree with her on that aspect when it comes to my life, but how I feel when I think of normal girls, I think of the Instagram models that are the typical girl-like behavior that most women have, and at times I realized I didn't always have that behavior growing up. And I will definitely be explaining that in that year, and how I've navigated that space now, and I'm still learning to navigate that space and kind of accepting my femininity with that. So, and then we're approaching 2022, and maybe by the time this video comes out, it might be 2022. But how I feel about 2022, I kind of want to name it prom.
Would y'all, sidebar, I just feel like because I'm wearing a prom dress, I should do prom. Okay, for that reason alone, come on.
And the reason why I want to name it prom is because I'll be turning 25 that year. And when you think of prom, it's like it's the last hurrah right before you go off to college. And it's like, okay, like it's the last time you get to be with your friends. This is the last time like you really get to have that fun that you may not have again with like high school friends. But I thought of it, okay, this is kind of like my last year of really living in my early 20s. And it's my last year really, I'm not gonna say having fun, but like having a different type of fun with limited responsibilities, because I'm gonna be getting a master's in public health. I hope still within my 20s, I do have the chance to get married to somebody I truly love. God willingly, God sends me somebody, I'm waiting God. But sending somebody, I hope that within maybe my late 20s, maybe like 29, 30, God, that would work out, to hopefully start a family, and getting a house, and it's really going into the career path that I want to be in and helping my community. So I feel like the year 24 is kind of like the last hurrah I get to really enjoy my early 20s. So that's how I'm viewing this year. And it's just like, this is really like my prom like moment. Like after this, really after the fall of 2020, after 2022, my life is going to kind of change forever, because I'll be pursuing a master's, and I'll be really looking into my late 20s and seeing what life will take me there. So yeah, navigating that space and what it's going to really be like, because you might outgrow, I think I probably will maybe outgrow some behaviors in which I have, and I have a feeling with changing those behaviors, I'll end up outgrowing some friends. And maybe kind of asserting some boundaries along with for family members. So I feel like this is like a prom like moment. Like 25 is slowly approaching, and I don't kind of know what to expect. But I expect 2022 to be a year of understanding more of what it is to be a life coach, what it means to be sitting in a space where I have my own soapbox and people actually care to listen, and care to hear other people's stories, and how can I help these individuals navigate this space of mental health and mental well-being, and along with mental illness, because mental health is talked a lot, but there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. And I definitely, while I was sitting here sharing my story, I want to kind of encompass what mental illness may look like, how it looks differently for everyone. So that is my story. And that's a glimpse into my story, and I'm looking forward to telling you guys. But I won't just say that it's also inspired by songs. I think I'm going to name each video, and I might make it into small little segments of videos to make it easier for you guys to watch, based on particular stories. And each year, like I said, has a song to it. They also will have a name for the video. So I don't want to tell y'all now. I think I want to excite y'all. I want to excite y'all and let y'all see what I come up with, because trust me, if I can think about what I would name my early 20s and probably a little part of my teenage years, I would say my life was an epic joke.
I'm doing the best that I can. I tried to forget.
And so many avenues, because there were things that I just really could have avoided, but I was too stubborn. I was just really too stubborn, and I did not know how it would inflict on my mental health now and the well-being of others that are around me. And so this is my story, and it's through the eyes of control. And I just hope that you guys learn something from my story. You grow with me as I grow with you through my story, and you're able to start a conversation like never before with my story, and along with the other stories that I have also on my podcast. And I feel like I haven't mentioned that. Wow. definitely go head over and watch my podcast. It's called the Share It All Podcast, where I sit down with many individuals and I allow them to navigate a space and share their stories and share their views on various different topics. But this will be personally my story over here. So welcome to Share It All, but Joy's version of Share It All. So let's go.
Relearning things, unlearning things from like my childhood or like things I've done for so long. Like, so it's habits I'm still trying to break. Like, I'm still learning how to take self-accountability at times. And sometimes I'm not the best person at it, and I will 100% go on record for that. I'm not the best person at taking self-accountability. Why do you think it's one of the main pillars of my business that I constantly talk about? Because sometimes the main pillars that are in your business are things that you know you need to constantly work on.
And I don't feel like anything is supposed to have the same face. Like, you as a life coach might not be somebody else as a life coach.
Yeah.
So there's never supposed to be expectations on like, oh, but I thought this about you was perfect. I thought this, I thought that.
No.
Like, no, babe.
No, I still make mistakes. I still ain't perfect. I'm learning every single day. And that's why I tell people I grow with you. When you grow, I grow. When you call me out on things, I may in the moment be like, that's not true. That's not true. I got to go home and I really got to sit back and think about my dag. They were probably telling the truth.
Oh, yes. But that's, like you said, being self-aware.
Yeah.
That's another way that I'm self-aware too. Is like, best believe, even if you did say something to me about myself, even if in the moment it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I went home and I sat and I thought about it.
Yeah.
Like, it might not always be true, but I did think about it.
Yeah, and I'm as I'm growing in my journey, I'm learning that I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna definitely process it, and then I'm gonna really think about what you said. And sometimes you might be right, and sometimes it's hard for me to want to apologize because it's like you got to put your pride to the side. And like, this is something I'm even learning this week. Like,